253 duels stepped up to the plate here to show us that, well, the format's going about how we expected it to be. Hey, 34% of you did not smash the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up the 100K ladder here. So we're going to be looking at the CCT Hefei 2023. It's actually happened on January 1st and 2nd. Literally a couple days ago, actually. So this is actually some very interesting tournament data here. Now, for the breakdown for this event, first place was Sprite Tri-Brigade. Now, if you've been kind of keeping up with how the OCG format has shifted, you will definitely notice that Sprite Tri-Brigade has been a very big monster. All right, well, the Shizu Kashtira tier. Now, once again, what's very interesting about this entire inception of events here is the fact that, Kit Galos is banned. You've seen this deck be dialed back so hard in the format that players are being forced to, deal with it still. Now, third and fourth here was kind of interesting. We have Runic that actually made it into third place, and we'll actually take a look at that deck here in a second, but I think what's most interesting about the note for this is the fact that Runic is still a, no Mystic Mine. This deck has had to endure a lot of real changes in their format is very, very interesting to see. And then, of course, fourth place down here being another Ishizu Kashtira tier element. So that's two Ishizu tier elements in the top cut of this event. I'm not really surprised to see that. All right, now as we get down here to 5th through 8, now this is where things get interesting. Sky Striker makes a grand appearance here. So it took 2 engages, 2 Kagaris, just to get this deck finally going in the format again. I mean, is it keeping up with the rest of the stuff? No, not at all, actually. Of course, you have another Ishizu tier, so that's 3 Ishizu tier in top 8. You had Sprite and you had another Runic deck. That's actually pretty impressive at the end of the day to see that turnover. Now, when you get down here to 9 through 16, I think this is the most exciting stuff down here. We had an Orcust deck. Orcust, of all things, stepped up to bat for this event. And I think that's hilarious. Double Galatea actually mattering out of this. We also had a Vernal Sith Adamancipator. That deck has started to take off a little bit as of late in the OCG, strictly because the way that deck is kind of being used right now, Block Dragon is stupid busted. Black Dragon, they should have cleaned that problem up a long time ago. They also had a Bysteel Dragon Link, so you are seeing the Bysteel Dragon Link is still holding on for dear life, which is good. And then we had 2 more Sky Striker decks. We had 3 Sky Striker in the top cut of this event. One of these ended up being a Sky Striker Runic list, which is kind of interesting as well. And then we also had a Sword Soul deck in the top cut of this event too. Is there anything here that really surprises me in terms of top cut? I think a lot of the OCG has definitely talked about Sky Striker being a much lower representation. A lot of the tier list I've seen don't even talk about it. I've seen a lot of players that will toss Runic aside, also not talk about it either. A lot of the tier list I've seen have had Runic very low tier. But once again, this is a higher level of play, all right? Versus more localized metagame play where you'll see that on a lot of the scale for a lot of these other events, that it makes sense that we would see, decks that are designed for the higher level play, like Runic, like Sky Striker, that can tear through and have these bigger access toolboxes to have that success. So I'm not surprised to see that those are the range of things that we're seeing here within the top cut actually working themselves out. All makes perfect sense to me at the end of the day. Now, as for deck list here. All right, so we have our first place Tri-Brigade Sprite. Now, for the most part here, for what you really expect out of this, I'm not really surprised to see that you're still playing typical Sprite package. You're still having access to all of the standard good stuff in here. Tenki just now being at 2 for this deck definitely strengthens it a lot. And I mean, you also have access to Lightheart being, good Link 1. I'm actually kind of happy to see that that's stuck around. And then the Annoying Mosquito. That Annoying Mosquito actually matters all that much. I also like the fact that this deck feels, I'm going to use the word very fair at the end of the day here, which is a pretty good thing. Your side deck, I mean, triple Judgment, triple Red Reboot, all of that feels pretty standardized. The interesting thing is like the 2 droplets in the main, 1 in the side. I definitely like the idea of testing the waters with that. So it's actually not bad. Now, we go on down here to the Shizu or Kashtira little hybrid deck. So basically, playing 1 Fenrir, 1 Unicorn, and then you're playing the triple copies of the Kashtira Tier Elements monster. Now, the big thing is, since your deck now plays Parios and the Tier Elements field spell, you can bridge that gap and you get the ability to search basically whatever combo piece that you need to get the milling going. Now, we are back to playing the Ishizu package at this point in time, which is actually pretty nice. I also see that we're playing the Gravekeeper's Trap here, which is pretty good. Now, for basically what you're looking at for this deck here is, I mean, you're able to make Winda, you're able to make, you know, Guardian Chimera now because of the inclusion of this. The Dark World monster is still something you can make. You have so many stupid good power plays that you're able to play because of, you know, the interactions and inclusions of these different engines in your deck. Side deck looks pretty standard, I feel like, here. Now we have our runic list here. Now, we're focusing on double Amano Iwado. Of course, the thing that makes this deck really shine in the OCG is they have triple card demise. That triple card demise matters so much for this deck. I know a lot of people look through the TCG version and like, it's not, yes, 3 card demise. It matters, all right? It's free draw power. Like, it boggles my mind that people look at this and they're like, no, it's not. Yes, it is good. You also have desires, dualities for filtering. All right, like your whole game plan here is to just, you know, upset the opponent. You also see down here in the side deck, we have double DD Dynamite, triple Dimensional Fissure. I also see that we're citing the Runic Allure as well. So if you kind of get into a matchup where you're going to have to grind out a little bit more, you have access to do so with that, which is actually really nice. I actually like the inclusion of that as a one-of for this deck. Now, as we go on down here to the third, fourth deck, you're going to notice pretty much the same formula that we've noticed here. But one interesting thing here is the Shaddoll fusions down in the side deck. This is not the first time that I've seen the Shaddoll fusions actually seeing side deck play right now because of Shekanaga. It actually kind of adds an interesting little extra dynamic to this deck, and it gives this deck some extra little play lines to kind of punish the opponent, which is actually very, very interesting at the end of the day. Getting that extra little push from this deck actually really matters all that much. Now, I mean, the rest of the main deck's going to feel pretty standard compared to what we've already seen here. You know, your Ishizu package, your Kashtira monsters, you know, basically fitting right on in here. You know, the death of Kit Galos, it hurt, but this deck has pretty much pulled itself together and has been walking away relatively easily. So, not surprised by any of that. And then 5th place down here, 5th through 8, is Sky Striker. Now, straight off the bat, you're going to notice that we are playing triple Upstart. We're playing the double Desires and the double Engage. And you're probably looking at this and you're like, wow, you know, like we're focusing on actually playing those particular cards. Yes, we are. I mean, you might look at Desires and you might be like, oh, you know, like I don't want to burn through these resources. You know, like, I mean, once you engage, you know, set up, you're good to go. And then, of course, linkage is just going to give you OTK fodder. Notice the lack of, like, buy steals in the metagame. The fact that, like, I feel like a lot of players cut back on buy steals definitely allowed this deck the chance to step on up. And, of course, down here in the side deck, I mean, you see the dimensional barriers, you see the evenly matches, you see those counterplay cards to allow a deck like this to step up to that metagame and counterplay what is being handed to it for the meta. So, I mean, overall, looks absolutely good. Now, for final thoughts on this, these results don't surprise me. A lot of the data that we've been seeing for the top end of the format, it looks pretty normal to me. I think we'll continue to see, like, Sky Striker, you know, Shizu Tier. Shizu Tier still, it's been hit like 3 times on this list, and it's evolved into a homunculus of like different ideas and things, and it's spinning really right round, baby, right round, and nothing's gonna stop it here. So those are the CCT results. I am actually genuinely impressed with the breakdown for this. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.